I want to tell you a little story, and it gives some insight into why I don't go and confront Trump supporters at rallies really anymore. At least I haven't in a very long time. And it relates to, I should say, what we're going to talk about in this segment, which was the time when a Trump supporter found me and confronted me after I had done an interview weeks before with that individual, and he didn't like how it went. So let's get into that. I'll play this clip. This was the original conversation that we've had. If you've been a follower of me for a long time, you may have seen this, but I'll get into the behind the scenes details, and then we'll get to what he did when he saw me at a different rally. This is my second channel. My name is Luke Beasley. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and then my main channel over at Luke Beasley on YouTube, link in the description to get all of my other content. So this was the original conversation we had at one of Trump's rallies.
Tell me 3 Democratic policies that you support.
Inflation Reduction Act, American Rescue Plan, the Infrastructure Law, the PACT Act, the Chips and Science Act. I think it's good that Biden pulled out of Afghanistan. I can go on.
No, I get. Wow. Okay, would you like to talk about the pullout of Afghanistan?
Why did you feel bothered that I just listed policies I think are good?
Because
I think it's great that he lowers prescription drug costs.
you don't know enough about those policies.
So one of them in the Inflation Reduction Act is capping the cost of insulin for Medicare recipients at $35 out of pocket per month. And I think that's really good. I don't think seniors should be having themselves price gouged. Now Medicare will negotiate drug prices. I think that's really good because of Joe Biden and Democrats.
I think Joe Biden is an illegitimate president. I think the election was stolen, and I think he's going to be killed for his treason.
Okay. Again, if you follow me for a long time, you've seen that clip a few times because I think it's an interesting portrayal of some of American politics, which is, hey, I think that Biden did some all right things. I think he did some good things. Here's the list. Well, I think he's going to die for treason. What? And he wasn't happy with this, with how it went. The story goes, for our new viewers joining us here on the second channel, let me explain. That clip went around the world, okay? Went crazy. And so he started getting recognized by people who thought he didn't articulate a logical position there. And he told the story to me a different time. So, okay, wait. I went to a different rally and he was there. And he came up and was very angry at me. And he told me that he had gone into a bar and someone saw him and recognized him from that clip and was calling him mean names. In a sense, I felt bad that he got called mean names, but also you decided to do the interview and then say that. You didn't have to say that. You could have just been like, oh, okay, well, I think these policies are better, or I don't like capping the cost of insulin. You didn't have to say the treason thing. That's the most outrageous part of it. And in the extended portion I've gone over times, in the past, he says it's because the election was stolen. And it's like, oh, it wasn't demonstrated anywhere. And he said, well, we'll see. So we're still waiting to see. That was, I think, in 2023. We're still waiting to figure out that. No, we figured it out. And he was wrong. So then to make such a proclamation, yeah, it's going to get some attention. So then I remember him coming up. He found me at the rally and saying, you took me out of context. You deceptively edited it. And you should have had me, give more consent for that to be posted, even though whenever we get your consent to do the interview, presumably we then can post the interview. And we've actually looked into the rules on that and we're correct legally. But what you as an adult don't have control over yourself enough to just not say crazy things. But then I said, well, do you believe that? Do you believe that about Biden? And if we start talking right now, would you say it? And he was sort of like, well, I guess I don't. And after we talked for a while, he ended up backing down. He was very angry. So angry that he made a sign to stand behind me in one of the interviews. He says, execute drug dealers. Is that something you support?
I've never heard that. I've never heard him say that.
But we're going to be asking everyone who sells drugs, gets caught selling drugs, to receive the death penalty for their heinous acts.
I've never heard him say.
If he did, would you be supportive of it?
I'm not support. I wouldn't support executing anybody for anything like that at this point. I mean, that's.
So he wrote a sign saying, "Hey Beasley, don't edit the video this time." I don't know him personally. I know him from talking to a rally. Then he was at another rally and came up and confronted me, and was saying I edit. What? And this is the thesis of this video. I think more people need to video themselves talking about politics and then need to watch the video back. Truly. I think some people don't know how crazy they sound until they hear themselves saying it. There was nothing out of context. There was nothing deceptively edited. That particular one, because I pulled it from Twitter, may have had one cut when our conversation gets interrupted because some guy comes in screaming. So we stand, we wait, and then we start talking again. That was, his stance was that. And that's why whenever we ended up talking for a little while, because I have sympathy. I don't want you to feel that you were misportrayed. He ended up saying, no, I wasn't misportrayed. But if I hadn't seen him there, he wouldn't have come to that revised position. And he still was mad at me. How is it my fault that I wasn't even trying to corner you? Oh, tell me, do you think Biden is guilty of treason? What happens if someone's guilty of treason? I didn't do that. I just said Inflation Reduction Act. And he went, treason. So I do think part of it is people talk about politics and they don't really hear themselves. And I know I've made this point in past videos, but just by hearing themselves fully in context, they go, sounds a little crazy. Or by seeing the reaction they get, they go, wait, is that a crazy position? And so I do think, and again, I have sympathy because I do this, and I know that when I initially started posting videos and people would be mean, it is really rattling. And so if you could blame it on someone else, that would probably be easier. But at some point, you should have to contend with what you actually said and your actual belief. And I did have one other guy who I interviewed here, and I'll tell you about what happened afterwards. All right, what brought you here? What are you hoping to see and hear?
I'm hoping to see the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and I came here because this country is in such bondage, in such demonic oppression. We are heading towards communism.
What?
We need
demonic bondage. Sounds like a good time.
People to be praying for this country, to be praying for the President, Donald Trump, and to pray for people's eyes to be opened to the truth of where our country's heading. Because communism is a very real thing. Marxism is a very, very real thing. We have Marxists running our country. We have babies being killed after they're born. We have all of these. They're trying to take away our First Amendment. They're trying to take away our Second Amendment. They're trying to destroy our Constitution.
Pause. Let's do it one bit at a time. So you started off by saying President of the United States. Is that kind of because we love him or because you genuinely believe he's still the president?
Both.
So this was before, of course, this was a while ago. As you can tell by the way I look. This was, put it back up. Before the world weathered me so much, so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Oh, Luke, what lies ahead of you? That was before Trump won the election, so a bunch of people at that rally were saying that Trump was still president. A whole thing. A whole saga you may have missed, but we covered many times. But this guy, too. So this was in South Carolina. I went to a different rally in South Carolina, like a while later, and he saw that I was doing interviews, and he stood up. So people were walking down this way, and I would ask them as they came down, and he would stand right ahead of me and go, "Don't interview with him. Don't interview with him. He'll he's dishonest." And again, it's like he thought, y'all saw beginning of the interview, 1 minute. Yeah, there was more on different topics. So whenever I'm going through and reviewing an appearance at a rally, it's here's this on this topic. Here's someone else on a different topic. Otherwise, it'll get pretty boring because we're talking about a bunch of things, and some people don't communicate that in such a succinct way. But there he laid out his position. So he laid out his whole 1 minute position. I think that Marxism, I think bondage is going to cause, communists to demonize you and whatever. And then how is that my fault? I just said, why are you here? Then you gave that response. This is not my fault. I don't want people to feel like anything was done wrong. But why did I stop going to rallies? Because as happened at a couple, this would happen, but that's okay. They come up, they're upset, fine. If I've talked to them before, it's not like they're threatening me. What would start happening to people who I hadn't talked to before, but just knew who I was and what I was doing, they would threaten me. They would come up, they would start saying, all these crazy things about what they were going to do to me. And so then it kind of became, I'm not trying to go to these things to create some big spectacle where all these people are shouting at me and, oh yeah, look at this. Oh no, I'm being screamed at. And so I only want to go if I can actually have discussions with people and it not get all crazy. And it started getting crazy, which is a cool feeling because it's, wow, like the show has gotten big enough and the clips have gone far enough where people would even know why I was there. But bad because it ruins good conversations. And it all started. The first time that Trump supporters would recognize me was not because they had seen the show online. It was people like that who I talked to before and were really not happy with me. And I'll never understand that. What is so wrong about you saying something and then me later going, hey, someone said this thing. We're going to talk about it. Because they gave me permission to interview them with a camera in their face and a microphone. Again, if you are new, my name is Luke Beasley. This is the second channel. If you want to see the big main one, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of this video. And while now I don't do so much of it, much of the beginning, the thing that started all of the online content I now do was going to these rallies and talking to people. So it's going back to my roots. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.